Ever had a drain so backed up that water just sits there, staring at you like it's got nowhere to go? Maybe you've already tried dumping chemicals down there, or given it a few half-hearted plunges, and nothing worked. I get it. A severely clogged drain can make you feel like your only option is to call a plumber and hand over a few $100s. But here's the thing. In this video, I'm going to show you the complete process for destroying even the worst clogs, step by step, using methods that actually work. We're not talking about those weak little tricks that might help a slow drain. I'm talking about the real deal, the techniques I've used for years to clear blockages that seemed impossible. And stick around to the end because I've got a bonus tip that will help you prevent clogs from ever getting this bad again. Let's get into it. Clearing a clogged drain is one of those skills that every homeowner should have in their back pocket. It's going to save you money, save you time, and honestly, it's a lot more satisfying than you might think. The good news is that even a severely blocked drain is usually something you can handle yourself. Once you understand what's causing the problem and you've got the right approach. So let's start by understanding what's actually going on inside your pipes. When water goes down your drain, it carries all sorts of stuff with it. In a kitchen sink, you're dealing with grease, food particles, soap residue, and over time, that stuff builds up on the inside walls of your pipes. It's kind of like how cholesterol builds up in your arteries. A little bit at a time, and eventually you've got a real problem. In a bathroom sink or shower, it's usually hair and soap scum doing the damage. What happens is these materials stick to the pipe walls, and then more debris sticks to that layer. And before you know it, you've got a pipe that's barely letting water through. Now, a lot of people reach for those chemical drain cleaners you see at the hardware store. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't recommend them. Those harsh chemicals can actually damage your pipes over time, especially if you've got older plumbing. They can eat away at the inside of your pipes and cause leaks down the road. Plus, if the clog doesn't clear, now you've got standing water full of caustic chemicals that you have to deal with. There are better ways, and that's exactly what we're going to cover. The first thing you need to do before you start working on any drain is figure out what you're dealing with. Is this a slow drain that's gotten progressively worse, or did it suddenly stop draining completely? A slow drain that's been building up usually means you've got a buildup of gunk in the pipe itself. A sudden complete blockage might mean something got stuck in there, like a chunk of food or a clump of hair. You also want to check if it's just one drain or multiple drains in your house that are affected. If your kitchen sink and your bathroom sink are both backing up at the same time, that's telling you the clog is further down in your main drain line, and that's a different situation that might actually need professional help. But if it's just one drain giving you trouble, which is the most common scenario, then you're in good shape to fix it yourself. Before we get our hands dirty, let's talk safety for just a moment. You'll want to have some rubber gloves handy because you're going to be pulling out some stuff that's not exactly pleasant. If there's standing water in your sink, that's fine. We'll work with it. But if you've already poured any kind of chemical cleaner down there, you need to be extra careful. Those chemicals can splash and irritate your skin or eyes. If that's the case, I'd actually recommend waiting at least 30 minutes and flushing the drain with plenty of cold water before you start working on it. You'll also want to grab a bucket and some old towels because depending on which method we use, things might get a little messy. Better to be prepared than to be scrambling for towels when water's dripping everywhere. Now, here's where most people go wrong. They grab a plunger, give it a few pumps, and when the clog doesn't magically disappear, they give up and assume the plunger doesn't work. But here's the thing. Plunging absolutely works for a lot of clogs. You just have to do it right. And most people don't. First, you need the right plunger. That classic red rubber plunger with the flat bottom, that's actually designed for floors, not sinks. What you want for a sink is a cup plunger, which has a flat rim that can create a seal against the flat surface of your sink basin. If you're working on a toilet, that's when you want the flange plunger with the extra piece that sticks out. But for sinks, a standard cup plunger is what you need. Here's a technique that actually works. If you've got a double basin sink, you need to block off the other drain first. Take a wet rag and stuff it in there tightly. This is important because if you don't do this, all the pressure you create with the plunger is just going to escape out the other side. Same thing with the overflow hole, that little opening near the top of your sink. Stuff that with a wet rag too. Now, you want about 3 to 4 inches of water in the sink. If it's completely drained, add some water. If it's full of standing water, that works too. Place the plunger over the drain and make sure you've got a good seal all the way around. Now here's the key. You're not just pushing down, you're pushing and pulling. Push down firmly to compress the air, then pull up sharply without breaking the seal. The pulling action is actually what creates the suction that can dislodge the clog. Do this about 15 to 20 times in a row, keeping a good rhythm going. Really put some muscle into it. After 20 pumps, break the seal and see if the water starts draining. If it does, you're making progress. Run some hot water and see how it flows. If it's still slow, go for another round of plunging. By the way, if you're finding this advice helpful, you should know it's just a small sample of what I've put into my new guide, The Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It's packed with step-by-step instructions for hundreds of repairs that can save you thousands. To grab your copy, you can scan the QR code on the screen right now, or just use the first link in the description below. All right, let's continue. If plunging didn't do the trick, it's time to bring out the drain snake. This is also called a hand auger or a plumber's snake, and it's one of the most useful tools you can have in your garage. You can pick one up at any hardware store for around $20 to $30, and it'll last you for years. What I recommend for most household drains is a 1/4-inch cable snake that's about 15 to 25 feet long. That size is perfect for sink drains and will reach most clogs without being too bulky to work with. Here's how to use it properly. First, remove the drain stopper or strainer from your sink. In most sinks, this just lifts right out, or you might need to unscrew it counterclockwise. Set it aside. Now, feed the cable end of the snake down into the drain opening. You'll feel some resistance when you hit the P-trap. That's the curved section of pipe underneath your sink. Gently push through while rotating the handle clockwise. This rotation is important because it helps the cable navigate through the bends in the pipe. Keep feeding the cable in, turning the handle as you go. When you hit the clog, you'll feel real resistance, different from the resistance of the pipe bends. It'll feel more solid, more stuck. This is where you want to apply steady pressure while continuing to rotate. The tip of the snake is designed to either break through the clog or grab onto it so you can pull it out. Once you've either punched through or hooked the clog, slowly pull the cable back, out. Don't just yank it, pull it steadily so you don't leave pieces behind. And fair warning, what comes out is going to be pretty disgusting. That's why we've got those gloves and that bucket ready. Once you've got the cable out, run hot water down the drain for a couple minutes to flush out any remaining debris. If the water still seems slow, run the snake through one more time. Sometimes it takes 2 or 3 passes to get everything. Now, here's the method I call the secret technique, and it's what I use when plunging and snaking just aren't cutting it. Most homeowners don't realize they can do this themselves, but it's actually really straightforward once you see how it's done. We're going to remove the P-trap and clean it out directly. The P-trap is that curved piece of pipe right underneath your sink. It's designed to hold a little bit of water at all times, which creates a seal that keeps sewer gases from coming up into your home. But it's also a natural collection point for all the gunk that goes down your drain. Over time, grease and debris build up in there, and that's often where your worst clogs are hiding. First, place your bucket directly underneath the P-trap to catch the water that's going to come out. Trust me, you don't want to skip this step. Now, look at how your P-trap is connected. Most modern P-traps have slip nuts on both ends. Those are the larger nuts that you can usually loosen by hand. If they're too tight, use a pair of channel lock pliers, but wrap a rag around the nuts first so you don't scratch up the chrome finish. Turn them counterclockwise to loosen. Once both nuts are loose, carefully lower the P-trap down and let all that water and gunk drain into your bucket. Now you can see exactly what's been causing your problem. I've pulled out some things over the years that would amaze you. Grease buildup that looked like concrete, chunks of food, even small utensils that fell down the drain years ago. Take the P-trap over to another sink or outside and clean it out thoroughly. I like to use an old bottle brush or a rag on a stick to really scrub the inside. While you've got the P-trap off, take a flashlight and look up into the drain pipe coming from the sink and also into the pipe going into the wall. If you see buildup in there, this is a perfect time to run your snake through those sections directly. You've got clear access now, so take advantage of it. Once everything is cleaned out, put the P-trap back in place. Hand tighten the slip nuts first, then give them about a quarter turn more with your pliers. You don't need to crank them down hard. Over-tightening is actually one of the most common mistakes, and it can crack the fittings or strip the threads. Now let's test our work and make sure everything is flowing properly. Turn on the hot water and let it run for a good 2 to 3 minutes. Watch the drain carefully. The water should swirl right down without any hesitation. Also keep an eye on those connections underneath the sink. Grab your flashlight and check for any drips around the slip nuts. If you see water, just snug up the nut a little bit more. Once you're confident there are no leaks, fill the sink about halfway with hot water. Then pull the stopper and let it all drain at once. This gives the system a good flush and lets you see how it handles a large volume of water. If everything drains quickly and smoothly, congratulations, you just saved yourself a plumber's bill. Let's talk about some common problems you might run into and how to handle them. First, what if you've tried all these methods and the drain is still slow? This usually means the clog is further down the line than your snake can reach. You might need a longer snake, or the blockage could be in your main drain line. At that point, it might be time to call in a professional with a power auger. Second, what if water is coming up in another drain? When you run water in the sink, this tells you the clog is past the point where both drains connect. Again, that's a main line issue that needs professional equipment. Third, what if you got the P-trap off, but now it won't seal properly when you put it back? Check the rubber washers inside the slip nuts. These can get brittle and cracked over time. Replacement washers cost less than $2 at any hardware store, and they'll give you a watertight seal. Fourth, what if you see the clog, but your snake won't grab it? Try running hot water while you snake. Sometimes warming up the grease helps break it loose. You can also try a snake with a different tip. Some have a corkscrew design that's better for grabbing hair and fibrous clogs. The good news is, if you follow these steps carefully, you should be able to clear just about any single drain clog in your home. Now, for that bonus tip I promised you at the beginning. Once you've got your drain flowing freely again, here's how you keep it that way. Pick up some enzyme drain cleaner from your hardware store. This is completely different from those harsh chemical cleaners I warned you about earlier. Enzyme cleaners use natural bacteria that actually eat away at the organic buildup in your pipes. The grease, the soap scum, the hair, all of it. What I do is pour about half a cup down each drain once a month, usually right before bed, so it has all night to work. It keeps the inside of your pipes clean and prevents that buildup from ever getting bad enough to cause a clog. I've been doing this in my own home for over 15 years, and I can count on one hand the number of serious clogs I've had to deal with. An $8 bottle lasts me about 6 months. Compare that to a $200 plumber visit, and you can see why this is one of my favorite maintenance tricks. Before you go, I want to make sure you know about my complete guide, the Ultimate Plumbing Playbook. It goes way deeper than we can in a single video, with 85 pages covering everything from clearing any clog to replacing your own water heater. If you want to stop wasting money on simple fixes, this book is for you. Just scan the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description to get your copy. Thanks for watching. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one.